and we teach. We use snakes and alligators and tortoises and tie them biblically to the Bible. So we're a little different than anything you've probably ever seen, but we also do wildlife removal, and we come to homes and houses and catch animals. I'll tell you one of my most interesting stories, and that doesn't do with the snakes, but I thought you might enjoy it. I had a lady call me one day. She's about 68 years old, and she said, Terry, said, my family thinks I'm crazy. I said, it's okay, mine does too. She said, no, you don't understand. They're wanting to put me away. I said, mine does too. She said, no. She said, I called 911. They told me to call you. Said, I got something coming in my bed at night sleeping with me. I said, it's probably your neighbor. I just asked him to leave. She said, no. She said, we got an air conditioner, and I'm bad about pulling jokes, so I never knew this lady. She's 67, just had surgery on a walker, and her kids thought she was going crazy when she told them something was coming in her house and sleeping with her. So we go over there, and I said, this is interesting. But she had an air conditioning unit and a little pull out. But every night, something run up in the window, pop the screen, come out, and jump on her bed. She's scared to death. I said, have you ever touched it? She said, yes. She said, it's furry all the way down. And I said, what in the world is it? I said, it's got to be a pet. I said, people are scared. I said, because it haven't hurt you yet. She said, okay. So I started asking the neighborhood. Sure enough, a skunk got loose. And I'm thinking, the skunk can't climb up a 4-foot window and get in. I thought, but they have surprised me before. So out of that, I go back and I go over there and set a trap, bait it, catch it, got skunk. Man, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, this ain't it. So she called me the next night. She said, it's back. I said, oh God. So I said, hang loose, don't move. She said, I can't walk. I said, that's good, you ain't gonna move. So I go over there, and with this point, I'm carrying a flashlight, infrared, because I hunt snakes at night, and I go through her house, and I'm in there, and I'm scared to death, and I'm thinking, what in the world am I going to run into? So I go in there, and I look, and I see these two eyes sitting on the bed. That's scary. Have you ever walked in a bedroom, two big eyes staring at you? It was her. No, I'm just kidding. It was, I turned the light on there, set this ferret, and every night he'd come in her bedroom and would lay beside her and sleep. Took me 2 weeks to find this animal. Took me 2 weeks. I didn't give up. So it doesn't surprise me. People call me all the time, and anything you would tell me, it wouldn't surprise me, because I've seen so much through the 20 years or more I've done this stuff. But we're going to show you a few animals. I thought you might enjoy that story. We have a lot you just wouldn't believe. But I'll tell you one more, and we'll get started. Had a call from 911. They said, Terry, we got a family trapped in the house. And I said, you do? And they said, yes. And they was laughing. And I thought, what in the world are you laughing about? And they said, they're trapped in a house by a turtle. I said, oh, you kidding? They said, no. I said, so I go over there in my truck, and you just got to know me. And I got a big bucket, and I got a big hook, and I jump out of the truck, and this family standing at the door. There it is. Watch it. I said, okay, okay. So I get down my bucket and get that hook, and I said, don't look it in the eyes. Whatever you do, don't look it in the eyes. I said, it'll attack you. So I run over there and throw the bucket down and kick the turtle in it, pick it up, throw it in the truck. And I said, thank God I got here, and I did. I said, them things been known to knock doors down. She said, really? And I said, yes. Now, if you call 911 for a turtle, I'm not going to have no mercy on you, okay? She said, what's it doing? I said, it's migrating. She said, really? And I said, yes. I said, every year they head down to Florida. I said, now once it gets in a river, it'll be in Florida by the end of the week. She said, I didn't know they swim that fast. And I said, I didn't either. So we run into a lot of things. And it's just true, guys. You can't make it up. I'm not that smart. But anyway, this is my wife, Wanda, and we're going to show you a few animals. Got it? I'm sorry you can't see it way back there. If you can't, I can come closer. That's okay, or I'll throw it and y'all look at it and hand it back to me. How's that? Now, I'm just messing with you. These are king snakes. Now, you look up the word king, it means one who's born into and rules in power and position for life. He didn't do anything to become a king snake. He was born a king snake. This is an eastern king. A lot of people call them chicken snakes because they're yellow rings. But I tell you, they're not afraid. They'll eat copperheads, rattlesnakes, anything else. and they'll swallow it and eat it alive. This is a California king. A lot of difference. In California, there's so many different kind of king snakes, but out here, the only difference is he's only a king in the environment he's born in. So if you take an eastern king and take him to California and turn him loose, he won't vary so well or survive. Why? The venom's a little different. What they eat out there is a little different. But you turn that one loose in Georgia, it might not do so well. Why? Because the way they're made. They're only a king in the environment they live in. Does that make sense? You change the environment of something, it don't work so well. I tell people, you know, you take a person that's raised in church, get in church, and you go out and you get out in the world and do things you shouldn't do. You don't have no peace out there. Why? You're in a different environment than you was born and raised in. This king here is a king snake, because where he's born, he is a king. There's only one king that's ever walked this earth. There's a king everywhere he walked, and that's Jesus Christ. He didn't carry a position, didn't do nothing. He's born a king. He walked a king, and he stays a king. These king snakes, you change their environment, you change their survival. They might not survive so well. Very interesting animal. I wouldn't tell you to pick up any snake. Snakes do bite. It's not a question if they bite, it's when. And it's not a question if Satan bites in this life, it's when. So things will come at you sometimes, and you got to understand what you're dealing with. King snakes have a purpose in life, and we have a purpose. We're going to put these two up, and we're going to move on. Which one you got? You okay? You see water on these snakes. They don't regulate their body temperature. They call it ectothermic. So I put them in water when it's on a hot day to keep them calm. You wearing perfume? I think he smells it. Yeah. This is a corn snake, and that is a corn snake. But you see the difference in them? When you get into the southern part of Georgia, South Carolina, anywhere it's light color, you'll see corn snakes along this color. This snake comes from up in Blue Ridge Mountains. Anywhere they get darker in color as the temperature changes. The colder it is, the darker the snake going to be. That's why you got difference so much in the rattlesnakes and all that. They're difference in color. You go to Florida, you wear a tan shirt. Do you not? Flip-flops. You know, when you go to the mountains, you sort of wear a darker color shirt. The temperature is different. So they're made different. Now, you know they're only made different on the outside. Their lungs and heart and everything's still the same on the inside. And they look different. Now, we all look different. Some of y'all look afraid right now. You really look different. But that's okay. I tell people we're all different on the outside, but on the inside, we all got the same hopes and fears and got the same dreams. We still long for things. The Bible said every man that's born has a longing to be his Father in heaven. We just don't know what we're searching for sometimes. Now, you learn a lot from snakes and say, how's that? Snake gets up every morning, and he does what he's made to do, and that's eat mice and rats. Never questions it, never worries about it. He gets up and does it every single day of his life. He eats what he was made to eat. You know, we're made to serve God. We're made in his image. We're made to get up every morning, here I am, God, what you want. And the reason we have so much problems in life is we put everything else before him. And if we have a little time left over at the end of the night, we'll read that Bible, we'll study, or we'll say, Lord, I'm going to pray. It'll be the first thing you do every morning, and your day will go by a lot better. Just like these snakes are different on the outside, but they're the same on the inside. They crave the same food. We all crave the same thing. That's a relationship with the Lord. We're all different, but we all have the same purpose in life. We're going to put this one up, and I'm going to show you some of our others. Packing a snake's hard sometimes because they don't want to go in. So let me get him packed. Got him? I'll show you this next one we got. We get a lot of calls. I got a call from the police department about 2 weeks ago. I'll use any snake. If we find them on the road going to a place, I'll stop and grab them. Because a snake's a snake. It's not a pet. It's going to bite you regardless. So they called me and said, Terry, we got a python. This got delivered to the police department and said, we need you to come and get it. I said, okay, I'm on my way. So we get down there, and I said, where's the snake? And I'm looking for a big container or a box. Don't find anything. There's a little bitty old box sitting over there. They said, that python's in that box. I said, you sure it's a python? They said, yeah, we Googled it. I'm like, okay. So I go over there and open the container up, and I was fixing to show you what I caught. And they run out of the police department. And they left me in there, all 6 policemen out of the police department, and I'm in there with 4 or 5 guys in orange suits. And I said, guys, if you're going to make a break, now's the time. I got the door. So they laughed, but this is what we got. This is a black rat snake. You live in South Carolina and other areas, you'll see you have gray rat snakes and yellow rat snakes. A little different snake. So I've got him. He's not a pet. I've only had him about 2 weeks. But snakes are not so much aggressive, but he sure does bite hard, and she won't hold it, so I got to. So we go over there and get this out, and I'm going out in the parking lot saying, guys, let me show you, this is not. So they go on a police call, they know what they're getting into. That guy said, if you don't get back, I'm going to taser you. And she said, you better back up. And I said, okay. So I have. I mean, I've rescued, earlier this year, I went and got the sheriff of a county, I won't tell you where it's at, off of a hood of a police car, shooting at a black rat snake. You can't make it up, guys. I tell you they do. But you know, you see one snake. Would y'all run over that if you seen it? You know that's illegal. Give me your name and we'll take care of this. No, I'm just messing with you. It is illegal to harm or harass any non-venomous snake. But on top of that, you see one snake, don't you? You know what I see? 250 dead mice in a year. Eat 3 times more rodents than any cat. Don't have to feed them, don't have to take care of them. It's better to have them a cat. But on top of that, rats produce every 20 to 21 days. And they produce a litter of about 20, 25 babies. So if you start with 2 mice, at the end of the year, you can have 25,000. So what you look at as one snake, I look at something different. But on top of that, if one snake's that important, how much more important are you? You know, you go look and you say, well, I'm not that important. Go over and read about Philip in the Bible. The Lord sent him out to a desert to read to a eunuch. And that man was a tax collector. People don't like tax collectors. We still don't this day. We just call them IRS now. No, just kidding in case some of y'all out there. But he read to that man what the Bible said. And on top of that, that man got saved. And he opened up all of North Africa, and God's word went into that whole country. You know, where people might have seen one man that wasn't really fit for nothing. The Lord's in a nation. You know, you look at, take a man out of a family or a woman, out of a church or a family, that family makes a lot of difference. One person in a family can win the rest of them to the Lord. You're that important. You got to look at kids and grandkids and cousins and brothers and nephews and nieces. Somebody's got to tell them about the Lord somewhere. If it ain't you, who's it going to be? One man makes a difference. You know, you take them out. My daddy died at 58 years old when he was preaching. Very hard thing to do. 11 in his family. And when he died, there was none of them ever been in church together except at his funeral. That's a shame, isn't it? Everybody goes to church and one of them dead. But he didn't give the altar call. His brother, who was a preacher, and there's only like 3 in his family that was saved. And they gave the altar call, and at that, there was 8 got saved at his funeral. In 2 weeks, there was 32 out of his family got saved. And, you know, that's been less than 10 years, and we buried all of them but 1 out of 11. That's nephews, and that's brothers, brother-in-laws, and brothers and sisters out of it. The Lord can use one man if you're willing to be used. You just got to get up each day and start today. Don't matter what you've done yesterday. It's over and it's done. You can't change it. Start today. This one snake, what he did yesterday, don't satisfy him today. So we're going to put him back up, and I'm going to show you some others. Yeah. And these you got to use hooks on. I got faith, I'm just not crazy. There's a difference. And you'll be surprised that people want to handle them. We had one of these just killed a young 24-year-old boy up in our area. He was handling it while he was watching TV with his 5-year-old daughter. And I'm going to get up. Just give me a second. I'm going to turn around so you can see it. I forget that screen's up there. Y'all see that? You see that Hershey Kiss pattern running down the side? And if you're looking for my hourglass, let's see if I can do it. If I do this without getting bit. See that hourglass pattern right there? See how it's consistent? So if you don't learn anything else, learn how to pick up something that looks like this. This snake here bites more people venomous than any other snake. This snake's found in Evers County in Georgia. This is a copperhead. The thing about him is he only produces about 60 milligrams of venom. Takes 100 to kill you. It doesn't produce enough to kill you. But if you have an allergic reaction, your throat can swell up and you can die. That's what happened to the young man that lived about 3 miles from me that always tell me how good he was with snakes. Well, he's dead, 24 years old. He's got a 4-year-old daughter left to be raised without a daddy. Stupid. That's the only way to say it. That snake's a snake. It's not a pet. He's going to bite you as soon as he gets a chance. Now, if you get bit by him, it's going to cause a lot of pain. You're going to have a little burning sensation. It's going to destroy a lot of your tissue, and it's going to hurt. But I tell you, the next time you go see that snake, you won't touch it. Why? Because that memory will come back to you, what it felt like. Plus, with a hospital bill run you about $40,000, you will leave it alone. So you get older, you think hospital bills. You're young, you think I can do that. I was one of those guys. But I learned something about this snake. He blends in so well that most people get bit. I was at Cloudland Canyon earlier this year, and I caught 4 copperheads in 20 minutes. Why? They get around the garbage can. So what I've learned is these snakes go where the rodents are. And people do simple things to protect themselves. Wear shoes, not flip-flops, and carry a flashlight, and you could pretty well not get snake bit. I tell you what the bad this snake is, but I tell you something good in him. They're starting to use this snake venom, and National Geographic just wrote an article, not the last one, but the one before that, about venom. And if you can Google it and look at it, it's got all kind of venom that it's talking about. But this snake's venom is starting to be used for people with breast cancer. So they're just really on the verge of touching it. But I tell people this snake's sort of like things in the world. You know, you don't know sometimes what you're dealing with until it doesn't bite you. A lot of times, you know, your friends, you think friends are really not your friends, and you don't know it till they bite you. You get into drugs one time or drinking one time, you say, no, it won't hurt me, and it may not. You get into a relationship with someone, they can destroy your nerves. But I tell you what, you might not ever forget it. The next time that you go on in your life, you remember what happened to you. You remember the time you took of it. But I tell you what hurts worse when you start having kids of your own and raising them. And you start trying to tell them something, and Satan comes back to your memory. Well, you did it. You did it. Kids are world worse. You did it. You know why? They don't let you forget it. They may not have killed you, but they'll leave a scar on you somewhere. And when you go in church and try to work, Satan will come back to your memory and say, look what you done. And he'll remind you of it. The first one to get you to do it be Satan, and the last one to remind you of it is the first one to remind you of Satan. He'll say, you did it. And the Lord can't use you. Yeah, he can. He can use anybody that's willing to be used. Don't let anybody tell you that he can't. Copperhead is a very well camouflaged. Snakes are not aggressive. If they were, we'd all be dead. They're the best camouflage out there, the best hunter. You're not going to beat them. They can lay for 2 weeks on a trail, wait for a scent trail, wait for something to come by and eat. We can never do that. We don't have the patience. Restaurants closed, not in a hurry. We're going to the next one. We're going to put him up. Am I doing okay on time? Now this is the one y'all probably familiar with. Her family, some of them just got bit by one of these last week. and they went to their carport and it bit them in the back of the heel, and they ended up in the hospital a few days. This is a cottonmouth, a true cottonmouth. People call them water moccasin. If you look at water moccasin, it just means snakes that live near the water. A copperhead can be considered a water moccasin. A brown water snake, a queen, southern bandit, brown, they all can be considered a water moccasin. A cottonmouth is what we pretty well call them. This cottonmouth can produce 800 milligrams of venom. Most people lose amputations, fingers, and toes from this snake. So he bites, he'll bluff charge you sometimes, and he'll come at you, just stand your ground. Most people won't do that, and go around. Now, when I was a kid, we used to go in the water, and I was always taught snakes cannot bite underneath the water. Y'all ever hear that? It's a lie. I can tell you, I know it's a lie. A snake is like a mini submarine. He has one long lung, the height and length of his body. So he can swim the day he's born. He just sits there and floats. On top of that, he has an air sac. It's at the back of his lung, and he pumps air up to the front of his lung. So he can dive, find the fish, and eat it all underneath the water. Pretty neat, isn't it? I wish I'd known that when I was younger. But any snake, water snake, can do that. But I learned this snake here, he's not really aggressive like most people. He smells fish. He latches on and holds on, because when he gets hold of a fish, he knows if he turns it loose, he'll lose it in the river or the stream. So it happens. They're starting to use the venom from this snake for people with lupus disease and even some sorts of diabetes and high cholesterol. So they're really just starting to touch what the good these animals can do. We look at it, and it is horrifying. It can hurt you and it can kill you. You know, I don't want to be bit by it. But I also learned, don't get too comfortable in life that you think that you can't get bit. You know, I didn't think I'd get bit underneath the water and just false security. And I learned. A lot of people thought, as I did, my dad's a pastor at church, and I didn't think I could get bit. I tell you, you can get bit sitting on front bench of a church. You can get bit going to work every day, doing the best you can. I tell you, things still come your way and trouble comes. That's just part of life. So we're going to put this up. I got to tell you the story behind this other one. We like I told you, we get a lot of calls. And a lady called me one day and she said, "Terry, I need you to come to my house." And said her husband took her out to dinner. And I think you need to take your wife out to dinner. Don't ever lose that. You know, once a month, go to McDonald's, dollar menu, no spurge. So I believe that. So she said they went out to eat in a county next to us. And as they was going to the front door of the restaurant, they looked and noticed what they thought was a little block in the form of a snake. But they got closer, it moved. She moved. And so he caught it. It gets worse. And she took it home. He took it home. Now, he was a redneck. I'm just crazy. He is a redneck. And he took it home in a pillowcase because he had a thing of catching snakes. I don't know why. So they put it in a pillowcase, left it in their kitchen. She said, "Terry, this snake's been in my kitchen for 3 days on a doorknob." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "That snake, every time I go out the door, it makes a sound." I said, "Really?" She said, I said, "What does it do?" She said, "It goes tch, 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 tch." I said, "I think you have a rattlesnake." She said, "No, I don't have a rattlesnake." I said, "How you know that?" She said, "My husband said it wasn't a rattlesnake." I said, "Your husband's an idiot." I said, "Just plain and simple." She said, "How you say that?" I said, "You put a snake in your kitchen and you don't know what it is, and you have kids, and it's on the doorknob, and every time you go out the doorknob to go to school and work, it makes a sound." I said, "You don't do that." She wouldn't let me. But anyway, this is what we got. That's a timber rattler. Now, timber rattlers put out about 1,100 milligrams of venom. They can probably kill 2 adults. I've seen some guys in shows tell you 10 or 20, so that makes them look braver than what they are. One's enough, and I don't want to be me. Can y'all see that back there? I can come closer. No, I'm just messing with you. I will tell you something about a timber rattler. When he bites you, y'all see the guy got killed just a week ago in Armurchie, Georgia, 82 years old. He went to remove a timber rattler from his driveway, and he took the stick to go there and remove it, and he tripped and fell onto the snake, and it beat him in the arm twice. A very good man. You know, he looked just like he played and did a lot of community work like Santa Claus. He looked just like one. So, I mean, it was awful. But you got to realize what these animals can do. I'll tell you what he can do. Once he bites you, you're going to start having trouble breathing. And you're going to start going into cardiac arrest because he's going to paralyze your chest and lungs and heart and all that. On top of that, you're going to bleed. That means you're going to bleed anywhere blood can come out. Ears, eyes, nose, mouth, fingernails. Anywhere blood can come out and fluid, you're going to bleed. And if you don't get help, you're going to die. And a lot of times if you get help, you may still do. You say, Terry, that's not a good thing to tell kids. Why not? Truth stands. You know, what you want to realize is that snake doesn't care if you're a boy or a girl. He doesn't care if you're 18 years old or younger. He will bite you. That's what he's made to do. But I also learned about this snake. Satan don't care about you either. He don't care if you're a preacher's kid, deacon's kid, if you go to the biggest church in this area. He don't care. You know, why? You're made in God's image. He don't like you. You know, and you can't hurt the parent sometimes. The worst thing you do is hurt the kid. If you hurt a kid, you'll hurt that parent. We're made in God's image. Why do you think he hurts us so much? He can't stand God, and he can't stand you. So you need to realize that. But I'll tell you something good this snake does. They're starting to use it for painkiller. And some of the South American rattlesnakes, the venom is 4 times stronger than morphine. So they're just starting to use it. But I'll tell you something else that I like about this snake. I'm not in love with snakes. They're just a tool. You know, some of y'all use different things, a witness to your friend. I just use animals. But this snake leaves a scent trail for his young ones to find their way home every year. And so he'll leave that scent trail out, and they will find their way back to the same den they was born in. And I'm thinking how smart this animal is, no more smart than what he is, that he leaves a way for his kids to get home. And we got the best road map in the world called the Bible. We don't take it and read it with them. We don't show them how to get home and wonder what happened to them. You know, if that snake had enough sense to leave a way for his kids to get home, and shame on us if we don't. Life's short, guys. You better make the most of it when you got it. I mean, you look back, 20 years is gone. So we're going to put it up. I got just a couple of more. And I got me a volunteer to help me. And they've been good to me so far today. You know that? Of course, I got rattlesnakes. Now, come over here and stand with me. Now, what's your name again?
Jimmy.
Jimmy got any last words? No, I'm just messing with you. We got a special prize. They've done real good. I think they worked hard to help us a lot. But we got a surprise to help you. I think we got one she can give you out. Okay. And show him how to hold it. And put the tail under your arm. If you ever want to get a lizard or alligator, put the tail under your arm. If you don't, you'll wish you had them, because they'll slap you across the face and it hurts. This is American alligator. Alligator is found 2 places in the world. One is southeastern United States. Second is China. Alligator is not found everywhere. God's not found in every church and not in every home. You know, a lot of people say, well, no, don't fool yourself. But I'll tell you something I like about alligator. He sees from here all the way to the tip of his tail. You ever go to the swamp? Oh, we do yearly. And you see an alligator looking the other way, he sees you. He just does that because he's got sensors all along his back that tell him when you get into water. So at this point, he knows when you get into water, and he'll turn around and come back and get you. Pretty smart animal. He sees what you do. You don't surprise him. God sees everything we do. We don't surprise him. You know, kids think to get by with their parents. They see what you do. Your friends, your church, when you're out there talking about somebody, people see what you do. There's too many people in this world. And we got too much access to telephones and internet. Everybody sees what you do. You just don't know what's been posted. But something else I learned, this alligator kills by drowning. The death row was how he eats. He kills by drowning. He pulls them out in deep water and he drowns them till they struggle so much and they can't breathe and they're dead. That's the way Satan does us. He'll keep you out in the world long enough. He'll keep you running with the friends you're running with for a while. And he'll keep you out there till your testimony's dead and your testimony's drowned. And when you try to talk to your friends and family about church and God, they laugh at you. They have no respect for you. Why? Your testimony's drowned it. So just like that alligator drowns, Satan will keep us out long enough to drown us. Then we wonder what happened to our power. I tell you this, my daddy was friends with Ed Weaver. That probably don't mean a name to you, mean anything to you, but he died at 48 years old as the biggest car collector in the world from Dalton, Georgia. I don't know if y'all remember that. I went in and seen all his cars, and I was 12 years old. Really impressed me a lot. And you know what? I go look at all of them. He had the wagon that Abraham Lincoln was buried in. I got to go sit on it. I thought that was neat, you know. They sold that at Stoney's Institute. But you know, I sat in there one Sunday afternoon. My daddy talked to this man. Millions of young can fire. He paid $13 million for one car. That tells you anything. And you know what he said? 48 years old, he died at another woman's house on one of his 10 farms. And the man sat in his living room and cried. And he said, Arnold, that's my daddy's name. He said, I'd give $1 million, and I'd write a check right now to have power with the Lord like I once had. Man had everything. Miserable. Miserable beyond belief, because all joy comes from the Lord. Simple, so simple, anybody can do it. But I sat there and looked at all he had. 12 years old, couldn't understand why he wasn't happy. But now that I got older, I understand it. Things in this life don't come from material things. They'll come and go. But I tell you, you put your arm around your husband, your wife, and kids, thank God you got them. That's the greatest gifts you'll ever have. And we'd throw them away. We're going to put you right here. I need my volunteers. You and you. You want to bring him with you? You want to come with him? That's fine. They asked me beforehand, so I thought, sucker. No, I'm just kidding you. You know, I believe, and we're just about done, that you sit down and figure out the cost of anything you do in life. Marriage, home, cars, and I really believe it. This next snake I got, a woman called me, her daughter's in the 4th grade, and she said, Terry, we got a snake that's outgrown my daughter. The first year she had it, it grows 6 foot. So people get these snakes in a 10-gallon aquarium, and they think that they can handle it. At the end of the 2nd year, it can grow 8 foot, and about a year to the 3rd year, it can be over 12 feet. The snake I got's a girl, and she's a baby. And she'll be about 20 years old, and on top of that, she'll be over 20 feet long by the time she's grown. So I tell you, sit down and figure out the cost, and I'll tell you something else to do. Pick you some good friends in life to help you carry things in life. Just like this snake gets too heavy, life will get heavy. Don't have someone to leave you when things get hard. We're going to pull it out. And she's a little bit wet. She stays shy. Okay. Don't hold it too close up on you. Yeah, don't drop my girl. I'll show you something here in case you never know. Snakes have claws. Y'all know that? And they all use them for mating. So snakes have claws. Pretty neat. But I tell you this is a Burmese python. And she's just a young thing, and she's a baby. And she's wet, I think because she peed. No, I'm just kidding, because we had her in water. And so we're trying to keep her cool down. But I will tell you about snakes. Before you get anything, figure out the cost before you get into it. If things don't line up, don't do it. You know, don't look at right now. We're in a society that we think, I want it right now. And credit cards loves us for that. But I tell you, sit down and figure out what you're getting into. Choose you some friends. The snake weighs about 40, 50 pounds, and she'll get heavier. But I've learned with her, if you got friends that stay with you, or a husband or wife, or sometimes things get hard, they'll leave you hanging onto a big snake by yourself. And if you're not too careful, they'll get too big for you to handle. And if you ain't careful about your problems in life, they'll get too big for you to handle. Have you a good church and a good family to pray with you and go with you. Why? Because you're going to need them. And the way this world's turning, you're going to need them sooner than you think. You know, but this is it. If you want a picture of something with the alligator and snake, our booth's upstairs. We only charge like $2 for a picture with them. But you want a flyer about us for your church and our, you know, this is our ministry. I don't apologize. I've lived it for 25 years. And the Lord's blessed me, you know, more than I ever thought. You know, I never thought I'd be part of the Georgia Baptist Association. And I never dreamed one day I'd get to take snakes to church. But we do. And the Lord's blessed us. We cover 4 states. And when I first started this, I had 1 snake and people laughed at me. Now they try to book me and they can't get me because we're too busy. Stay with your dreams. Don't nobody ever tell you can't do something. If the Lord's in it, you can do anything. So we're going to put them up. Thank you for your time and your help.
All right. Another hand for Wildlife Ministries, coming all the way from Dalton, Georgia, folks. How about that? Appreciate you.